Greetings and salutations. Happy Monday.
Hi.
Happy Monday, Greg. Welcome to Colin and Greg Live, right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Now, Greg, technically, today is a holiday, and I'm going to treat it as such, but we still wanted to do Colin and Greg Live because we don't want to miss anything.
I did not understand when you said that your girlfriend was going to be home on Monday. Right. She was home for a holiday. Yeah. I thought she was just taking a day off. So that makes more sense.
Salutations. Yeah, so disappointingly, we're still doing a 12-hour live stream during your day off. You should have scheduled it another day, but you didn't know because you didn't look.
All someone has to do is tell me that. No one ever tells me anything. No one ever talks to me about anything we do. So yeah, the Walking Dead live stream's right after this 20-hour holiday. Yeah. I thought she was just taking a day off. So that makes more sense.
Yeah. So disappointingly, we're still doing a 12-hour live stream during your day off. Yeah. You should have scheduled.
Why is that on? It's always muted. Yeah, there we go. So recapping, it's a holiday in America. So there you go. That's what we're doing. But I'm still going to do the Walking Dead live stream after this 20 hours of The Walking Dead.
20 hours it's going to take you?
Every game, Season 1 and Season 2 are 10 hours. Every episode's about 2 hours apiece. I'm sure there'll be a little give and take in there, but I'm doing 400 days as well. Oh, we also have a bunch of stuff to give away. That's because it's part of the thing. I want to play it all.
I was wondering if you were going to do 400 days or not. We'll have fun with that.
I want to see the copy over. Yes, the copy.
I will be not streaming
what are you gonna play?
But we'll check in with you every once in a while and make sure you're still alive. I want to see if I can chase that Order 1886 Platinum. I only need 2 more trophies.
Nice.
And I think I might, jump back into Dying Light, play a little Stardust.
Nice.
Just to kind of have a relaxing day today.
Okay, good.
Greg, there's a few things I want to address first.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a shirt. I don't know if you saw the results of the election. The results are in.
There was no election.
And the results, surprisingly, according to the statistics, the results were unanimous.
Oh, okay.
I am now the president.
Angelo's voted
I am the president of Team Fat now, and our friend Angelos Gambitsis from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Sent us a bunch of stuff, which was very kind
very nice. You don't have to send us stuff. Thank you so much.
He sent us all sorts of Star Wars figures and stuff. Very nice. We don't have room for a lot of these things, so we're gonna be giving a lot of these things away back to the audience. But we do appreciate it. But amongst the things he sent was this wonderful shirt that declares the results of the unanimous election.
There was no election. And what I want to point out is, if we look here, just raise your arms and stuff. You look like a sophomore at the University of Alabama who woke up at her boyfriend's house, threw on his shirt, and left to go get brunch with her girlfriends. All right. If you can't even fill out the Team Fat shirt,
it's not my size. It's too big.
Oh, too big for you. The shirt.
It's all relative.
Too big.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
Portello, I didn't understand that the shirt is too big.
And you're mad at me. You should be mad at the electorate.
Well, this is from New Zealand, which is all up north and cold. They don't know what the hell's going on in terms of how to vote. President
of Team Fat. Thank you for electing me president of Team Fat.
How do you get your Team Fat shirt? You go buy the real one, kindafunny.com/store. It's that easy. Also, a lot of people are asking, how it catches up?
Yeah.
They were asking about the Order. Remember, we can't talk about our experience with the Order until Thursday at 5 a.m. Pacific time. We're doing a live stream right then. We're going to play the first part of the game, finally be able to talk about it. We'll have a discussion up on YouTube as well, all these different things. So there's plenty of stuff on Thursday. We can tell you how we think about it.
Yeah, we have a lot of things planned for the Order, which will be a good time for all. Talk about the Order. I beat it this weekend. You are still working your way through the game.
Right. We went to get pizza last night, which threw me off. That threw me off my schedule.
Impressions are redacted.
Yeah, but the pizza was really good. Noriega pizza is excellent.
But we will touch on a specific piece of news.
Okay.
That I think is somewhat relevant because a lot of people have been talking about the length of the Order, and I think we'll start there. It's a GameSpot story down here. And Daniel Hines.
Daniel Hines, heir to the Hines fortune.
H-I-N-D-E-S. I don't know if the Hines have a fortune.
He doesn't have any fortune then.
But Daniel's story reads: The Order 1886 leaks to YouTube in full.
Yeah. Playthrough
is 5 hours long. A full playthrough of The Order 1886 is leaked ahead of the game's official release this week and clocks in at 5 hours. We're obviously not going to be able to comment about anything specifically, but this playthrough does exist. I went and looked at some of it.
Yeah.
People, I think, have been streaming the game too. I think that, unfortunately for Ready at Dawn, unfortunately for Sony, this game is already all over the place. We had tweets of people finding the game in stores. If you go on PSN profiles, there are a lot of people that have the game already.
Some already have the platinum, yeah.
Some have platinumed it. I am missing one collectible.
That's the one.
That's one collectible.
That is the fucking worst when there's a collectible you can't find. Mailman.
Mailman's here. That's enough. Okay, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna put him away.
Yeah, sure. Corey, come here, Corey.
Yeah, right. He's gonna come here. All right. So the story on. Oh my God. All right. That's enough. Shh. Shh. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. There's something to live for. Jesus told me so. American Movie reference. Remember American Movie? That was a really random movie. Portillo, relax, buddy. Relax. You can't be running at the door every 5 seconds. Nope, you can't do it, and you're not going to get away. Nope. It's an intruder. What are you going to do about it? Oh, there's nothing you can do about it. There's an intruder. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Okay. First, it was a package for your girlfriend.
Oh, it's for Cheryl?
Yeah.
Well, that you should
not even exciting.
You should have ignored it.
Well, I don't know that till I'm down there. What am I going to say? No, I don't want it. He tries to give me a package signed for. I'm like, nah, thanks. Who's it for? Her? Nah, sorry, no good.
I did a little. I quoted American Movie to your dog. You remember that?
American Movie. I do remember that. That is a movie I haven't thought about in years. What did you
say
to
good reason.
Priscilla?
It's all right. It's okay. There's something to live for. Jesus told me so. It's the only quote I remember. Anyway, the story from about the Order 1886 from GameSpot says,
yeah,
YouTuber Played Me Through has uploaded a complete playthrough of the Order 1886 to their YouTube channel. The footage totals roughly 5 hours of playtime, including both gameplay and cutscenes. The time devoted to cutscenes appears to be roughly half of that playtime, and the cutscenes are reported to be unskippable. The leak has arrived shortly after rumors circulated that the game was only 3 hours long, and after Ready at Dawn founder and CTO Andrea Piscino responded to a query that the game was less than 5 hours long by stating that was, quote, not true, end quote. Piscino later tweeted that he would no longer comment on such questions. His tweet said, "Note, I am done commenting on clickbait rumors about game length, downgrade idiocy, and such nonsense. Don't bother asking." Let's see. So, I mean, that's basically it. We're not really going to comment on it any further than that, other than to acknowledge that this story exists and it's interesting.
This story exists and it is interesting.
I mean, that's.
I know. That's all you can say. I agree with you. I hear you.
What else do you have anything else to say about this particular issue?
No. The only thing I can say, of course, is catch our not our full playthrough. Our playthrough Thursday. 5 a.m. PT, 8 a.m. ET, 1 p.m.
We're not going to play through the whole thing, are we?
No. Our embargo sheet asks kindly to only play the, first several hours, it says, which is ambiguous and weird, I think. But play through for the first several, not to spoil it for other people.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Not to mention, I'd like to probably go back to bed before we do the show. You figure it's going to be a 5 a.m. call. 4:30 we'll have to be up. Play through it for 3 hours till 8 o'clock. Nap a poo. Wake up, do this show.
Troubles are going to be abound that day because I have a dinner that night.
Yeah.
With Follow the Leader star Eric Castro.
Eric Castro. Thanks for the invite.
We also have to go. You're welcome. We also have to. You can come if you want. We also have to go because I haven't made the reservation yet. We also have to go that. Actually, it makes sense for you to come that night because we have to go to an event that night before dinner.
The happy hour thing?
Yes, and then I was going to split off.
We are busy people.
So.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
We're gonna go.
We're gonna go to Restaurant Redacted in San Francisco.
Okay, good.
Where they have wonderful cocktails. So anyway, Greg, that's the Order 1886. that's the Order 1886's story.
Cool. Thursday, we can tell you all about it. We can tell you our impressions. We can tell you how long it took us to beat it. You can come watch us play part of it. I'd like to imagine I have the platinum by then too, but I won't because I'm not gonna go through the crazy collectible thing.
You have a collectible I don't have, and I want to know if that's the one I need.
Wouldn't that be it? Wouldn't that be the one?
I don't know if that's the only one I need. That is my assumption.
Gotcha.
Running around like an asshole looking for this.
See, that's the thing. At this point, just let it go, or go to GameStop and buy the strategy guide, or chill out.
I'm not buying anything.
Wait for the PlayStation Network. What is it? PSN profiles now? Wait, no. What they changed the trophies to? What's the trophy site?
It's PS3trophies.org.
But then they changed the name.
I think it's PlayStation Trophies.
No, it's just PlayStation Trophies. Love them. But wait, they'll have the guide up soon. Are you sure they don't have it yet? You been checking?
Who? PS3 Trophies?
Yeah.
They don't put trophy guides up that early.
Yeah. Well, now that it's out though, you go to the news. I'll find it. I'm gonna get you.
I actually want to talk to you, Greg, because I don't know if you read this, and this has been going round and round and round and round and round for the last few days.
Yeah.
About a Peter Molyneux interview. We talked about Peter Molyneux late last week, about some broken promises he made. Our good friend Jim Sterling, Jim fucking Sterling's son.
We know him well.
Put up a really great Jimquisition about Peter Molyneux today. But I'm kind of wondering what your opinion is and what people's opinion is out there about what I want to say is kind of the way Peter Molyneux is being treated. And I don't know if you have strong feelings about it one way or the other. Were you able to read the Rock, Paper, Shotgun
I did. You told me the other day on my way out the door that it was an amazing interview. I needed to listen to it. And it's him tearing it apart. What's interesting about it is, and I'll be super upfront, that I don't know Rock, Paper, Shotgun from a hole in the wall. I know of the site, obviously. I'm not an avid reader of it. I'm not sure how their coverage usually nets out. In this interview, Peter keeps saying you're being very emotional right now. You're being very emotional. In reading it, and I don't know how it plays on the phone, reading it, that it does sound very emotional. It sounds very much like when I lost my shit about Cole getting a redesign, right? And if you would have let me talk to Nate Fox on the phone that day, it would have been a very like, you know what I mean? You can, correct me if I'm wrong, in the interview, you can read, this is clearly somebody who believed in Molyneux, backed Molyneux, or it seems like he has, right? Or stood up for Molyneux before, and that's where it's getting all out of control or whatever. But it does get really, like, I mean, he opens with, are you a pathological liar, isn't it, or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing, is that the first question in the interview is, do you think you're a pathological liar? I just wanted to address this because I don't really quite know how I feel about this interview and about the way that Peter Molyneux is being treated, because it is the talk of the industry right now.
Yeah.
Are people being too hard on him? Are people not being hard enough? Is this real journalism that you don't often see in the game industry? You know, we've both made mistakes, I think, in the way we've approached situations and issues in the past. Maybe you talk about your Infamous 2 thing or whatever.
Sure.
I certainly made mistakes in the way I handled the Mass Effect 3 ending controversy. And you learn from those mistakes, and it's not easy to accept or acknowledge that you're making those mistakes, and you have to deal with them in perpetuity.
Yeah.
That said, I do find this interview to be quite aggressive.
Right, yeah. 100%.
And whether or not that's the right thing or not, I don't know, because I just don't think we see a lot of real journalism in games industry. So
sure.
This might be par for the course. This might be the way someone is supposed to handle this if you're a real journalist. You're not really supposed to be friendly, or you're supposed to be friendly maybe, but not make friends or anything like that. So maybe this is the way you come at someone like that. Maybe it's just weird because Peter Molyneux is such a legend. But I think the Jimquisition that went up today, Jim Sterling's Jimquisition, spoke to it pretty interestingly, that he talks about Fable. And that one of the things that people haven't talked about in these interviews, as far as I'm aware, is that Peter Molyneux basically has what he calls I think Jim Sterling called the Molyneux cycle, which is like make a game, overpromise the game, when the next game comes out, shit on the previous game, say that this game's great, and then do it over and over again. And he has this whole trail from the before Fable was released all the way through Fable 3, where he does the same thing over and over again. Overpromises things aren't in the game, then he says, well, Fable 1 was shit, Fable 2 is going to be awesome. Then Fable 2 comes out and he says, well, Fable 2 is shit, Fable 3 is going to be awesome. I don't know, it's just an issue I wanted to bring up. I don't really know if there's an answer or even really a point of talking about it that much, other than
I think when you're talking about it being real journalists, I think that's where it always gets weird, right? In a newspaper setting, I wouldn't have been this aggressive with Peter Molyneux. I mean, these are questions he feels needs to be asked. These are questions only a true, not fan, but someone like at ground zero could understand. Like, right? Like if Peter Molyneux walked in today and sat down, right? Our interview would be very top level, right? Because we weren't backers of Goddess, so we'd be reading somebody else's report to figure out these questions and try to lay it all out and get the thing here. This is coming from this is hitting home obviously for the reporter here. But I think I don't think I'd go at it from a newspaper angle that way. But in terms of like a magazine feature, or if you're doing like a talk show online in front, or on camera, I could see it being like that or whatever. It's just interesting because he is getting the shit kicked out of him right now in the court of public opinion.
Well, it reminds me of the way sports are covered in a way where, beat writers aren't necessarily attached to the team or whatever. They kind of get put on the team. Sometimes they like the team, but they also feel like sometimes they have to be homers or talk to the home crowd instead of being honest. And then you find journalists every once in a while that just tell it like it is, and those guys kind of get shit, but maybe they're the most valuable people of all that are telling those stories.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Rock, Paper, Shotgun's asking questions and got an interview. Like, here's the weird thing about this whole situation, is that I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it Eurogamer that reached out to Molyneux and started this whole thing?
I think so, yeah. Well, he's reached out to the god of gods or whatever that was supposed to be in Goddess.
Yeah, the kid,
and that started this whole spiral.
Exactly, and that right now it's a feeding frenzy. It's very much one of those things where everyone is jumping onto this big story, ourselves included, right? Talking about this thing that's happening without doing the legwork, right? Like, I thought, did you read Keza's piece on Kotaku?
Yeah.
Like, where she regrets backing the game and all these things. That was, again, very interesting and from a point. But I think it's this weird thing of, like, Right now there are so many looky-loos on it, right? So few fucking people know what Goddess is or give a shit about Goddess. But it's Peter Molyneux of Fable, and he's fucking up. Let's all make fun of him. Let's all joke around about how, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And in a week, this will be past, and no one's going to think about it again, except for the people who feel wronged about Goddess, this, that, and the other.
Yeah, and I think that, and beyond that, I think that, you know, there's a certain issue with the tactics that Molyneux employs. Sure. I also think that it just brings up a question of how does the subject expect to be treated by the journalist? And I don't know the answer to that question, because that's what I'm saying. I don't think John Walker at Rock Paper Shotgun or the other people that have interviewed him have been necessarily wrong at all.
No, not at all. Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have taken that tact, but I also know what it's like to think you're doing the right thing and then maybe reflect on it and be like, that was maybe a mistake.
Sure.
The way I handled it. I don't regret what I said. I don't regret the message. I regret the way it was put forth. So it was just, I think it was an interesting kind of look behind, you know, a conundrum within a conundrum, as it were.
Oh my gosh.
A riddle wrapped up in a
pig in a truffle,
a question, where it was like, well, Portillo, take a drink of the water. Portillo, drink the water.
He'll come back to it. He's been too busy protecting the house from burglars to drink water.
You brought the whole show to a standstill, my friend.
Peter Molyneux is a fascinating individual. One of those guys in the industry I could talk to forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And so, like, yeah, it's interesting to see not only what's happening right now, but what happens next. Where do they go from here, right? Is it 22 cans, or is it another game, or is it years from now? Is it soon? You know what I mean?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Greg?
Yeah.
I want to move on to...
I'm moving on.
What story do I want to move on to next, Greg?
You want to move on to... Give me... what?
I didn't send you the link to this, but let's do this one next. The Last Guardian trademark. People are freaking out about this. I don't think there's any reason to freak out about this at all.
Oh, really?
The story, and it's everywhere. It's by Sharif Saeed at VG247. Says the Last Guardian trademark abandoned by Sony, and this is published this morning.
Yeah, this one's making the rounds.
Sony has elected not to renew its trademark for The Last Guardian in the United States. According to the game's listing on the website of the Office of Patent and Trademark in the US, Sony has not extended its trademark for The Last Guardian. The image below is a screen grab of the webpage, serial number 857000141. So, it's important to note that this may still not reflect the status of the game's development. Sony has abandoned the previous trademark it had for the same game once before. The game could have also been given a new name. That is the flashing light, of course, to me. Sony has confirmed all the way back in August of last year that the game is still in development. So this is there's an interesting thread here.
Okay.
I 110% believe The Last Guardian, or whatever it is in development and will come out. I think that they've changed the name of the game. I think that, like, that's...
Why?
Because I think there's probably terrible cachet associated with The Last Guardian, and it might just be a totally different game. We don't know what they're doing.
Sure.
I think a lot of assumptions are... Let's back up. Sony had The Last Guardian development from Team Ico, right? It was a thing. As we always talk about, Clement saw it.
Yep.
And it was being played. That game that was on PlayStation 3, a game seems to have been scrapped, right? They are making a new game now. And I think that basically they're working on a new game that might not be The Last Guardian. It might not be the game that we remember being, but Team Ico's working on it. And Sony colloquially might be talking about The Last Guardian when people talk about it as the game, as Team Ico's game.
Sure.
It might not literally mean The Last Guardian. I think that it's smart for them to change the name, but because if the game's not real, this is what is this is the big problem, and this is why I'm so confused about why people think that that means the game's canceled or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Sony has sworn up and down on the record 5 million times to like a bunch of different outlets over the last 2 years. The game is in development. Right. You know?
Yeah.
Like the game is real. When IGN posted its story last year around E3 about The Last Guardian being canceled, they have vehemently denied it. You know, and then over and over and over again, people have been asking them since then, why would they lie about it? If the game wasn't real or canceled, then they would say so. So there's two things here. The trademark was abandoned already once.
Yeah.
And that the game could just have a new name. So in my personal opinion, I think that it could just be a different game. It could be an abandoned trademark that they will renew later. It could be a bunch of different things. But I do believe that game is in development simply because otherwise Sony's basically lying. And I just don't think that they would do that. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe IGN Russia was in the future. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe they got a transmission from E3 of this year, last year. Now, here's where I'll play devil's advocate to you. I don't understand changing the name strictly, and you're saying because it has bad cachet. My answer is that it has cachet. It's got this mystique about it that, you know what I mean, whether good or bad, right? Where somebody who was into gaming 5 years ago and has fallen away still knows Last Guardian, right? Still understands what that name means, that that's connected to Team Ico, that it's been in development forever. Maybe it'll be amazing. It's very similar to Eric Brudvig from Edar's talk, or when he was with Edar, his talk from GDC a couple years ago, in the way of like, just getting your game reviewed is all that matters. If your game reviews poorly, it sucks, and yeah, maybe it'll hurt day one sales or whatever, but down the line, you're going to see more people buying that game, even though it got a 6 or whatever, than people who never even heard about this other game. They know the name means something, you know what I mean? It's like what I was talking about with sequel selling better than original, right? Like why you put a 2 or a 4 or a 3 or whatever on something to put it out there,
right? Because
you want more people to buy it. At this point, worrying about your investment, making the money back that you sunk into The Last Guardian, I think you keep the name.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. I think the problem is that
I
think that I know you do, and I understand that you have maybe one of the most astute understandings of business and economics in the entire United States. But one of the big problems to me is, I think that The Last Guardian cannot live up to the hype. It cannot. This game, this name, cannot live up to the 10-year development cycle of the game.
Sure.
And even though that's an unfair statement in a way because it is not the same game.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, Team Ico still somehow exists.
Yep.
And they have now put out a game in a decade. In 1 decade. We're coming up, I think, didn't Shadow of the Colossus come out like April or something of 2005? We are coming up on the 10th anniversary of their last game. So when you have The Last Guardian and it is, you know, it's been dragged through the muck, basically. I mean, my whole thing was like, they should have just released the fucking game. You know, like, just put a year in 2010 or 2009 and just finish it and accept that you're going to get a 6 or whatever. If they felt like that game was going to be bad or whatever, it's better than what they've done to the game.
Get it out of the chamber already. Stop dwelling on it. Yeah.
I can't imagine how much money they've spent on that game.
A lot.
I can't. Like, the team's not big, but it's like that they've been employed. I wish, and this is, again, a great example of, I wish I knew Japanese and could overcome the language barrier and had access to Japanese studios, because I'm sure that amongst Japanese devs and people that cover the Japanese gaming industry, this is a story and they know more. And
it's like we always talk about. We can't wait for that book to be written.
Yeah, oh my god.
That story to be written.
All right. Enough of The Last Guardian. I'm sick of fucking talking about it. Greg?
Yeah?
I want to move on to some Xbox news.
Oh,
this one comes from Xbox Wire, and it involves a game that we actually saw about a month ago. It says Create, Ride, and Destroy in the Scream Ride demo tonight.
Oh, we played this. Oh.
Scream Ride crashes on the Xbox in 2 weeks, according to the story at Xbox Wire. And if the above launch trailer has you curious to see what happens when you hurl pods full of explosives at buildings or build terrifying coasters, you can actually start creating and destroying, because the Scream Ride demo launches on Xbox Live starting at midnight tonight. Available on both Xbox One and Xbox 360, you can try out each of the 3 chapter modes in the free demo. Want to test your awesome Twitch action gameplay skills by steering a coaster car directly through crazy mazes? Then strap yourself in the cockpit as a Scream Rider and ride a coaster through the labyrinth of twists and turns. Basically, this game, I don't understand what the allure of this game. When we saw this game, we saw this, Ori and the Blind Forest and State of Decay. State of Decay and Ori and the Blind Forest are games I actually sat down and played and really enjoyed. I didn't even understand the allure of this game personally.
Yeah.
But maybe people are going to be excited.
I sat down and played it, and it was just like, oh, okay. Like, it was demolition mode. It reminded me a lot of Pain. You know what I mean? There's all this shit to break down, destroy, and then get points for it and try to hit this goal or whatever. So I went and did it, and then, like, outside of that, yeah, it wasn't for me. When they were talking about it, it's interesting because I didn't know anything about it going in. And when they were like, Scream Ride, we're going to talk about blah, blah, it sounded like they were talking about it was going to be like another roller coaster tycoon. And I was like, oh man, I actually like to play that on my Xbox. And then we got this, and I was like, oh, well, this is physics-based, Pain, whatever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't play the game, so I do not want to judge it.
Yeah. Well, Dion, that's not stopping Dion Troy J. He just says crap in all caps.
But I was surprised by, I just didn't understand. Like, I don't really feel like they explained it well enough either.
Sure.
Like how they're playing it and what they're doing. Like I don't know.
Well, then because they wanted you to go sit down and play it.
Sure.
And Colin Moriarty's like, nah.
Well, I wanted to play we only had X amount of time, and I wanted to play State of Decay and Ori, especially State of Decay.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna play the shit out of.
Yeah, party.
Greg.
Yeah.
This was interesting and unexpected news. Comes from IGN about Darksiders 2. So Darksiders 2 came out a long time ago, like 2011, I think.
Right.
When THQ still existed. This story by Seth G. Macy and Wesley Copeland, it's a collabo. It says Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition for PS4 appears on Amazon. Now, there's 2 parts to this story, okay?
Yeah.
The original story says that Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition has appeared on Amazon without fanfare or even a shot of the box art. The edition is listed for PlayStation 4 and has a price of $40. The release date is December 31st, which is a placeholder, etc., and so on. Nordic Games reacquired the rights to Darksiders from THQ when THQ liquidated its assets when it went out of business.
Sure.
And Nordic, I think it says here, last year it was revealed that Nordic was working on Darksiders and Red Faction collections because they also acquired Red Faction from THQ. And they also said a while ago, and I remember this when we still worked at IGN, that Darksiders is not dead. And that Nordic might make a new one. The update is that it's real.
Uh-oh.
Nordic Games has confirmed to IGN that Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition is happening. When asked for comment, Nordic Games told us, quote, the authenticity of the Amazon listing is unquestionable.
Nice.
End quote. Be sure to stay tuned to IGN, blah, blah, blah. So, Darksiders 2 coming to PlayStation 4. I assume it'll also come to Xbox One. They probably haven't listed that, maybe PC as well. So keep an eye out for that. $40 for the game seems pretty cool. But again, this is the game people miss, but again, enough with the re-releases. Although this might prime, and grease the wheels to see if they should do a Darksiders 3. Remains to be seen.
Yeah. You should go to Kinda Funny on YouTube. Watch our Darksiders unboxing, where we leave it. It has a cameo from a homeless guy too, which we're all pretty stoked about.
Unintentional cameo, as far as I understand.
Well, I mean, like, how do you determine? I mean, this is where we shot. We knew he was there. Nick just put him in frame at one point by accident. So I guess that's yeah. From Triforce Collectibles here. Look at that Darksiders. I'd like to think, Colin, honestly, that we are probably a big reason this game's back.
Oh, I assume that this was the reason.
They saw the nearly 50,000 views on this video, and they were like, shit, guys. Joe Mad, get on the phone. Darksiders is still popular. Darksiders is still happening.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Look at us.
Now, let me ask you this question.
Our job is to do this.
This is where the conspiracies begin to branch out, okay? Our friends at Triforce sent us this Darksiders 2 scythe.
Sure.
I was like, this is really cool. Why are they selling Darksiders 2 merch 4 years after the game came out?
Oh my god.
Surely they must have known.
Triforce is on the inside of the Darksiders 2 re-release.
Suddenly what seemed to be weird is suddenly a stroke of genius. For Darksiders 2 lives again, Greg.
Oh my god. This will be the Super Collector's Edition. They'll toss it in there with it.
All right. Greg, we've talked about PlayStation, and we've talked about Xbox.
We have.
Let's talk about Nintendo.
Oh, hey!
Over at GameSpot, Rob Crossley wrote a story about Monster Hunter 4. Game selling very, very, very well.
You've been playing the hell out of it.
Oh, no, I haven't. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate sales surpassed 3 million units. I played Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Don't understand what the hell I was doing in it. Don't understand the allure of it.
I had a review for IGN back in the day.
Not really into it.
Yeah.
But Rob Crossley says total sales of all Monster Hunter games since 2004 have reached 32 million units. So the story's brief, and it says Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Capcom's newest entrant in its flagship action RPG series, has now shipped more than 3 million copies worldwide. 3 million. Released on Friday, February 13th in North America and Europe, the game appears to have made an immediate impact, entering the UK all-format game charts at 4th. Sales were spurred on by the release of Nintendo's new 3DS handheld, which also launched across the West on Friday, and it launched with a much more important game, Majora's Mask.
That's me
editorializing.
I had the B-roll here for Majora's Mask, in featuring iJustine.
It's still, I mean, I can't believe that this game, this game, look at the power of the 3DS to make this game from 15 years ago look so modern and new. Still a great game, though.
Yeah.
Capcom's latest action RPG first launched in Japan on October 11th under the slightly amended name Monster Hunter 4G. Both Ultimate and 4G are the same game overall, an upgrade of the original Monster Hunter 4 that shipped in 2013. While the original managed to surpass 4 million sales in about 6 months, Ultimate 4G is threatening to eclipse that feat already. On Monday, the publisher wrote in a notice to investors that, quote, the resulting popularity of Monster Hunter 4G Ultimate has propelled worldwide sales to more than 3 million units globally. And they also say since the first Monster Hunter game made its debut in 2004, as we mentioned earlier, the series has steadily grown into what Capcom calls a mega hit, now with cumulative sales of more than 32 million units worldwide. So congratulations to Capcom, and I know a lot of people out there enjoying Monster Hunter.
People love
so
that
good
Monster
for
Hunter.
Greg?
Yeah.
There's more news on GameSpot that I want to talk about, and this is kind of weird and I think sad kind of news.
Which one is it?
It's the Bethesda news. And it's basically about a lawsuit that Bethesda filed against some smaller devs, and I want to read it to you. It's again by Rob Cross. It says, Bethesda legal team pressures Fortress Fallout devs to change name. Quote, congratulations, Bethesda, you won, you beat us, you showed us who's boss.
This is sad already. I don't like this, and this is the guy, huh?
Legal representatives for Fallout 3 publisher Bethesda Softworks have sent a cease and desist letter to Xreal, an indie studio currently working on Fortress Fallout, demanding the developer change the game's title and no longer applies for its trademark. At the heart of Bethesda's complaint is the use of the word Fallout in Xreal's title. It is not clear if anything else ties the two games together. Fortress Fallout is a 2D single-screen iOS tower defense game set in a grassy mountainside location, while Fallout 3 is a sprawling 3D action RPG set in a post-apocalyptic USA. X-Real founder Howard Marks, having been advised by legal counsel, said changing the name is the best decision for his team. Marks described Bethesda as a, quote, litigious, end quote, corporation, adding that it was difficult to challenge the claim due to Bethesda's vast resources. Quote, it's pretty silly. Congratulations, Bethesda. You won. You beat us. You showed us who's boss. End quote. He said it in the video above. Marks is now asking for the YouTube community to nominate a new name for the game, with numerous users suggesting Fortress Outfall would be an ideal alternative, which I think is awesome. They should absolutely do that. Trademark legal disputes are not uncommon at Bethesda. In August 2011, the corporation sent a cease and desist letter to Minecraft developer Mojang, asking it to stop developing a project under the name Scrolls. Bethesda, which I remember, Bethesda's legal team argued that it owned the rights to the Elder Scrolls name and that Mojang's project was clashing with that trademark. The two companies settled out of court. Bethesda is also in a legal row with the company behind Oculus Rift. This is kind of weird. I understand protecting your trademark and stuff like that, and I understand that you think the name Fallout in gaming means a certain thing, but you can't own the name. Fallout means something, you know, like, and it doesn't only have to do with nuclear fallout. There's fallout, you know, like, oh, there's fallout of a relationship or anything, that kind of stuff. This is kind of bullshit. And I understand, and it reminded me, because I'm glad they brought it up, of the Scrolls trademark, which was also bullshit. Yeah. So, for all the cool things Bethesda does and how much respect we have for their games, especially Elder Scrolls and for Fallout, this kind of litigious thing is really obnoxious to me. Yeah. You know? My opinion.
I agree 100% with you. I understand. It's one of those weird things of, it's like a patent troll, right? Like, they could go, like, this guy could go to court with Bethesda. Maybe he wins, you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about the fact that, sure, Fallout can be anything. It is a game, but it's not Fallout, you know what I mean? Like, so fuck it. Go to court, win, but like if you're an indie, you're making an iOS game, you're this indie guy, you're not gonna go up against ZeniMax and all this crap trying to get this done.
Yeah, right? I mean that's why big companies sue like this, because they know they might lose, but it's gonna cost you. You know? And they have their counsel on they don't hire their counsel, they have lawyers.
Yeah, on retainer,
so they're going to do
which
their
means
thing
they have
anyway.
retainers in their mouth and they're locked together.
It is a very complex thing about the retainers.
Yeah.
Greg, I want to do some science news real quick because I'm a huge nerd about New Horizons and Pluto, and we're going to go back and do more of this kind of stuff. Okay. So, and it's funny because we talked about this last week. New Horizons launched in 2005 from Earth and is going to Pluto, and it's going to give us the first pictures of the actual planet and its systems. It has 5 moons as well.
Eileen? How do you pronounce that one? You're smarter than me. Anyways, just resubbed. Thank you very much.
Eline, I don't know.
Eline? All right. Thanks for resubbing. Next time we'll know your name.
The story from NASA reads, the time-lapse movie of Pluto and its largest moon, Charon, or Charon, or Chiron. I've heard a million different pronunciations of this, and I still have no idea how it's said. Was recently shot at record-setting distances with the Long-Range Reconnaissance Imager on NASA's New Horizons spacecraft. The movie was made for over about a week, and it's getting closer and closer. It'll be really close in July. Now, this is awesome. Because this is the best picture one of the best pictures we've ever had of Pluto. This is it.
Is this guy?
And this is
the moon.
And so that's the moon, and that's Pluto. The moon is 1/8 the size of the planet, which is exorbitant, actually, for comparison's sake. Okay. Now the cool thing about this, Greg, to me.
The cool thing about this is that there's 2 dots dancing on the screen, and 7,000 people are watching.
No, what's cool about it is that the middle Pluto is moving, and that is because. Charon or Sharon or Charon is so big compared to the planet that they revolve around each other. And so it slingshots around.
You see it pulling out a bit.
Very, 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 very neat.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this, Greg. That thing is getting closer and closer. We're going to get real pictures of this motherfucker soon. Real pictures.
Color pictures?
Yes. Okay. Video, color pictures of the moon of the system of moons and the planet itself. Very exciting stuff.
That's cool.
What they didn't know when they launched the probe was that it would no longer be a planet.
Yeah, that sucks. Did you see, I don't mean to jump ahead here. I know, I do that sometimes, but we're on the science kick. Did you see the kid's video that he's now in the top 100 to go to Mars and die?
No, I didn't see this.
Yeah, what's that thing called? Mars 1? I'll find it.
Here, I'll look it up. Mars
1. I want to bring it up anyway.
Mars 1, final 100 candidates selected.
Yeah, it got kicked around.
There's a Mars 1 story.
I'll kick it up here, and we'll see if this is the one. But on a Reddit date today, I saw the kid. He reads the letter aloud to his. Here we go. Kind of. Well, no. Anyways, the one of the kids that reads it in England, that he's got the chance to be one of them. There's a little story. I thought it was interesting in general. This is the final 100 candidates, though.
Yeah, on Mars 1's website, it says the Mars 100. Mars 1 announces round 3 astronaut candidates. From the initial 202,586 applicants,
Jesus Christ.
only 100 hopefuls have been selected to proceed to the next round of Mars 1 astronaut selection process. These candidates are one step closer to becoming the first humans on Mars.
Yeah.
And it says 50 men, 50 women, 39 from the Americas, 31 from Europe, 16 from Asia, 7 from Africa, 7 from Oceania. Oceania, I guess it would be, actually. What further challenges do these candidates face? It says the following selection rounds will focus on composing teams that can endure all the hardships of a permanent settlement on Mars. The candidates will receive their first shot at training in the copy of the Mars outpost on Earth and will demonstrate their suitability to perform well on the team. So let the games begin, Greg. Send these motherfuckers to Mars. We're going.
Eventually, 40 candidates will be chosen to train properly for the mission. They will go through an 8-year-long process before viewers on the reality TV show vote for the final crew in 2025, which will be made up of 4 people. So, like, these 4 people are going to land and have to build this shit, too?
I think they're going to send a bunch of shit ahead of time, and then, yeah, they're going to have to land,
and
have to construct everything. Yeah.
That's crazy. So here's...
This is how shit's done.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love everything that's happening. It's fascinating. Oh, here we go, too. Okay, so here... All right, this is what's interesting. Now, they're already starting... This girl here, Maggie, might be the smartest one of the bunch or whatever. Because of the kid I was talking about, right? I think he's 19-year-old. Help me out here if you've seen the Reddit post. Reading his little thing. He is a virgin. He makes a big deal. That's not a big deal, but that's like one of his things that he's doing so far. And this girl here in her thing, right, was talking about the fact if she'd have a baby on Mars. I'm very open to having a baby on Mars. I think it would be really exciting to be the mother of the first ever baby born there. My baby could be the first ever Martian, which is fascinating. I never thought about that. That's awesome. We'd be like the Adam and Eve of Mars.
Not quite, because Adam wasn't Eve's child. Right? Is she talking about the person who would impregnate her?
I think she's talking about the person who'd impregnate her.
Okay, because that's a little...
That's different.
She's using the story of Genesis a little loosely
But
here.
you figure right now, not knowing much about this at all, I'm now pulling for her and the virgin kid to go there, fall in love, and make a baby on Mars. So that's what I'm saying.
I can't imagine, maybe Mary Roach knows in Packing for Mars, the kind of heinous complications that would happen to have a baby in the Mars.
Well, I think about it, yeah, that baby's going to come out too...
Everything has evolved because of this, like, the nature of our relationship with this planet.
Yeah.
And this gravity, and this atmosphere, and all that kind of stuff. It's a complicated thing, man, but, you know, even Buzz Aldrin, I've said this before, Buzz Aldrin, one of the great astronauts of all time, who was on the moon, says that a suicide mission is the way to go. That, like, that's how it has to happen that way, you know?
Yeah.
And then you don't have to call it a suicide mission, you just say, like, we probably can't get you home. We're going to try, maybe in the future, but expect that you're going to stay there.
Suicide mission makes it sound like you're going to slam into the side of the planet in some kind of fucking crazy movement. This is hopefully... They go up there and she dies 50 years later on the planet, right? Like everything goes swimmingly, and she just gets to be old and stuff. But yeah, you figure you get there. It's not like you can build a rocket launch pad and get back.
What's unfortunate is that this is going to probably be a catastrophic disaster.
Yeah. 8 years of training. We vote on a reality television show. We shoot them out there, and something goes wrong halfway, and then it's just, sorry about that.
It's liftoff, like an airplane. It's liftoff or takeoff and landing that are the most dangerous parts, and the same thing with. Once they're in space, they're probably gonna be fine, but then landing on the planet is gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man.
How long's the journey to Mars again? How many months?
Depending on where the planets are, it should take about 9 months.
Jesus Christ. I can't wait for the show.
If the planets are far away from each other.
Fuck these Marvel movies going out to 2020. I want 2025 for my reality show about sending people to die on Mars.
If we had ion engines or something like that, or nuclear powered engines, it would be quicker. But
you and I should make one of those.
The thing about this mission is that this is when they're gonna find the protein runes. And thus
one step closer to bringing Gareth to my planet so I can have sex with him again.
All right, let's cruise, Greg.
All right.
I saw this story in the Mirror, and this is just crazy to me in the sense that there are people still walking the planet that were born in the 1800s. This comes from the Mirror, which I don't think is a very reputable source, but nonetheless, I wanted to look at this because this is pretty crazy. It just shows like some of the oldest people and we won't go through everything, but like the world's oldest woman is this Japanese woman, 116 years old. And this woman, oldest American, Gertrude Weaver, 116 years old.
Wow.
Born on Independence Day, 1898.
That's
1898.
Right after George Washington helped Henry Ford get going.
Geraldine Talley, 115. Susanna Mushat Jones, 115.
Jesus.
And a lot of these people are saying that it's, or at least that they were saying in the comments here, that, for instance, Japan is known to have a ton of people over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. And they're saying it's because of the diet that they eat a lot of fish and stuff like that in Japan, and that might affect the longevity of some of these folks.
I love this fucking dick move, right? Like they're gonna embed this video here of this 104-year-old run the race or whatever. It's a YouTube video that they just rip and put in their own player, so the YouTube guy can't get. YouTube's designed to be embedded. Now here's what I want to point out, Colin. All these people look fucking miserable. This is why I'm always like, I want to clock out about 55. You know what I mean? Why I can still play games, I can still have fun. None of this for me. Not even this part either. The part where you're running, no thank you. No, I don't want that either. You know what I mean?
Good for these people though, man.
Yeah, good for them, whatever.
I just thought that was weird because I saw that story. I was like, wow, people were born in the 1800s and they're still walking around.
Do you want to watch this Incredible Escapes? Curious kid drops firecracker down a manhole, but they got...
No, I don't want to watch. Don't encourage it.
I really want to click it,
It's clickbaity and I don't want it.
Oh, you won't believe what happens next. Oh, next.
I don't know if I want to use this story.
Then don't do it. Do it. You know you want it.
There's a Game of Thrones story that's going around, but I'm afraid of spoiling things for people, so I'm not going to read it.
Sickish,
it basically says, the title at Polygon, and I'm just going to read the title from Dave Tack over there. It says, Game of Thrones Season 5 surprises will make people unhappy. Shocking.
No surprise.
Railroad Martin ain't going to stop.
George Railroad
Nothing
Martin.
stops that railroader.
Is he saying... Oh, it's departing from the novels. Okay.
Yeah, but it says spoiler warning underneath that, and you're just scrolling it on people's screens. So
no, it's not on their screens yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, I'm taking care of folks.
So that's it. It just says Game of Thrones Season 5 surprises will make people unhappy. Well, shocking.
Fuck it, that's awesome. Why you've already read the books? Why do you want to have the exact same experience? You know what I mean? It's like The Walking Dead. I've read all the comics, and then all my favorite characters in the show are bitches, and then they die, and I'm excited about that because then I don't have to worry about them anymore, ruining the good name of the characters who I won't ruin for you, who now suck in the show and are dead.
Let's segue, Greg, to Kotaku. They had an interesting story by Mike Fahey. I don't know if you saw this weekend or the last few days, that Rayman was leaked as being in Smash Brothers, except for it's fake.
Okay.
And what I like about this story is that it's how to create a convincing fake Smash Brothers Rayman leak. And you scroll down to there's about an 8.5-minute video. We won't watch the whole thing, but it's by the person who made.
This dude's hair is fucking awesome.
Yes, it is, and he's the guy who made Artsy Omni. Is the guy who made this fake, very convincing Rayman rumor, and then talks about how he did it. And so we won't obviously watch the whole video here, but I encourage people to go check it out because it's pretty interesting how he managed to like manipulate the game and a lot of other people out there to make it so that
you see
Rayman looks real. Because I think when I was seeing this kind of stuff, that it looked quite real to me. It looked real to me, damn it.
It's real to me, damn it.
So congratulations to him for tricking a lot of different kinds of people out there.
Good for him. Good for him, and then doing a cool video on how he did it. You know what I mean? It would be a dick move just to do it and then be gone. But to come in here, make it look awesome, do that kind of crazy crap, whatever the hell that is.
Greg, over at IGN, they wrote a story about Dota 2, a game I do not care about at all, and I won't hide that. I just don't know anything. I don't care about these games. But it's a huge game, very popular, more popular than literally anything we play. And it's so popular that this weekend, and I saw this story going around, Dota 2 hit 1 million concurrent players, which is unbelievable.
Wow.
As you can see from the stats below, the peak players for the day, Dota 2 is over 1 million, more than twice as much as the next game. And you can see the huge fall off as you like go down further and further and further. This game is just absolutely gigantic.
Look at Elder Scrolls still going.
Yeah, people are still rocking that game 50,000 at a time. So the story from Jenna Pitcher, our friend Jenna over at IGN, says Dota 2 hit more than 1 million concurrent players over the weekend, peaking at 1.075 million users and setting a record for the most concurrent players on Steam for one game. As highlighted on the Steam and game stats page, which we just saw, Counter-Strike Go followed far behind Dota 2 in second place. Steam itself already cruised past performance milestones this last year when the video game service broke its own record in January with 8.5 million concurrent players among all games. Dota 2's boost is an inch towards MOBA juggernaut League of Legends concurrent player record of 7.5 million. So League and Dota are still leagues apart. But I wanted to give a shout out to this because a lot of people feel like we don't talk enough about PC gaming.
Yeah.
So here it is. One of the most popular PC games in them all.
I watched some Dota yesterday. I popped in. They were doing that recreational league, the recreation. You know this thing where they it's something Mitch I think helped set up where it's like all these games journo types versus all these devs who all play Dota and do this. Brian Albert was shoutcasting with somebody along the way. Did not understand a fucking word of it. It's just announcing. He's commentating. He's being
Why do they call it shoutcasting?
I don't know. Why do they call us awesome? Because we are. Because people used to shout. I don't know. I ain't Jesus. I don't know what's up. Jesus knew what was up.
This is weird news, but I wanted to share it nonetheless. This is from Gamatsu. The City of Final Fantasy announced for arcades by Sal Romano over there. The new arcade game teased by Square Enix last month is the City of Final Fantasy, the publisher announced at Japan Amusement Expo in Chiba today. The game uses 3 versus 3 battle system, different from its predecessors, and has evolved visuals in comparison. Obviously, I hope so. Dissidia was a PSP game. Yep. Yashulta from Final Fantasy XIV will be playable, but characters from Final Fantasy XV have not been confirmed. The Onion Knight, Final Fantasy III, Terra Branford, Final Fantasy VI, Lightning, Final Fantasy XIII, and Cloud Strife, Final Fantasy VII are also playable. So that's just a weird and random story that I wanted to give a shout out to. Dissidia will always remind me of our good friend, Ryan Clements. Just a couple more stories, Greg, and then we'll go into the comments. And I want to wrap this up quickly because I know you the quicker we end, the quicker you can get into your stream, and maybe the quicker you can go to bed.
12:30 is the start of the stream.
Oh, you're going to start it regardless of 12:30.
The bigger question is, when am I ordering my buffalo chicken pizza to celebrate? Because I'm going to do that. I got to get it. Escape from New York. It's going to be great.
It's not really a question so much as when you're going to do it, because it's really up to you.
I'll just start doing it now. But it's like I got to look at the app and do all this stuff. I don't want to distract myself from you and the news.
Our friends over at Variety wrote a story, Brett Lang over there, about 50 Shades of Grey, which I know was a movie that you hold near dear to your heart. You went and saw it on Thursday night.
We did. You can catch our review discussion over on youtube.com/kindoffunny.
The headline of the story is Box Office 50 Shades of Grey torches records with $94.4 million debut. It says 50 Shades of Grey made moviegoers its slave over President's Day weekend, shattering records and heating up the box office with a staggering $94.4 million debut over the 4-day holiday. That easily trumps the previous high of $63.1 million set by on Valentine's Day in 2010. The film took advantage of Valentine's Day falling over the holiday weekend, presenting itself with a saucy evening out for couples looking to spice up their love lives. Is that why you went and saw it?
Yeah, me, Nick, and Tim needed to spice up.
It also became the 4th biggest R-rated opening in history and the 2nd biggest for a female director behind The Matrix Reloaded, which was co-directed by Lana Wachowski. The later record is the subject of some debate. The Matrix director was still billed as Larry at the time of the film's release and has not yet transitioned.
Larry.
Oh, wait, so they're saying... Oh, I see, okay. 50 Shades of Grey also did massive business internationally, debuting in 9,637 locations across 58 territories where Valentine's Day is celebrated. It has earned nearly $160 million at the foreign box office through Sunday. So congratulations to 50 Shades of Grey. I don't think anyone's shocked that it did really well. And maybe we'll get a sequel. There's going to be a sequel, right?
Oh, yeah. That's going to happen no matter what. That's a trilogy of books, like everything else in the world is.
And the final story that I wanted to read comes from, we go back to GameSpot, Emmanuel Myberg. GTA publisher game development getting more expensive and risky. A developer, quote, cannot get in without having a couple hundred high-quality engineers and artists, loads of capital, and lots of money to market the title, end quote. This story doesn't come as a huge surprise, considering the nature of AAA development and the more expensive that it's becoming. The story reads, Take-Two Interactive, which wholly owns Grand Theft Auto studio Rockstar Games, says that the games business is still growing, but that it's also becoming more expensive and risky. Quote, it's an expensive business, and the risk profile reflects that. This comes from Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick. He was talking to Bloomberg
That's a great
TV.
name.
Quote, that said, those very expensive production market overhead, in this case of sports titles licensing, they do create a risk profile. And from our point of view, it embeds the winners even further. It actually creates a barrier to entry in our business. Zelnick added that the developer, quote, cannot get in without having a couple hundred high-quality engineers and artists, loads of capital, and lots of money to market the title, end quote. Now, I don't necessarily agree with his assessment, but I do agree with his assessment in the sense that the AAA space is becoming exclusive, and it's removed the A space. We were just talking about THQ earlier today. Basically, this created the indie and smaller game space. So it's actually somewhat of a blessing because I don't want to say all, but many of the great games that are coming out are coming from this smaller space. But at the same time, the AAA space is dominated by these huge Activisions and Ubisofts and Take-Two's, 2Ks that control the capital. And their, and the means of producing these great, big, high-profile AAA games. So anyway, I thought that was just an interesting quote that I wanted to share with everyone to wrap things up. Greg, you going to stay on your phone for another 5 minutes, or are you?
Remember when you called me out? Oh, the question is when you're going to order the pizza. I'm ordering it right now.
You want to continue to stay on your phone? Maybe we'll just wait for you.
Ordering the pizza if we're walking downstream. Remember when you called me out to do it?
I didn't.
And then you're fucking yelling at me about it.
I didn't call you out. I said it's up to you.
And I did it right there. That was you giving me permission to do it.
That wasn't permission. I was just saying that the question didn't quite exist in the sense of what you're putting it out there as, because it was all in your hands to begin with.
This buffalo chicken pizza is gonna be so good. No onions.
Greg, should we start a new prize package for the week?
Oh, we should. And boy, howdy. Colin, now, you know how this works. Every day we come to you, the viewer, 11 a.m. We talk to you for about an hour, 15, hour and a half, and then we add something into the prize package that then we give away on Friday. Every day we add a new prize. Friday we give it away. If you're a sub, you're automatically entered to win. If you're not, you can just be in the chat and you have the chance to win. We combine them all together, then we make a mozzarella pizza. Today, Colin, I'm not going to lie to you. We're giving away something worth millions of dollars.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm just on my phone. I'm on my phone right now, so I just want to
see, but what I'll do is just carry the show as I usually do when I have to, when you get all fucking out there and you're doing your thing, lying about your t-shirts, lying about all this other stuff. We're giving you, Colin,
yes,
a home theater system. Not you, the viewer who wins this, right? Get my phone ready because I need to have the... There you go. So what we're doing here, we're giving you, Colin, the viewer, the View XL. Now what the View XL is a device you put your phone into, and then you get to watch...
Where'd you get this?
They sent it to us to play with and give away. So what these are here, Colin, are it depends how big you want to magnetize the image, right? Like how big do you want it to be? So you take it, you put your phone inside the View XL like this. Let's slide out of there. Do it. Shove it in there. Great. Shove it in there too. Great. Works for all sorts of iPhones. There's a version here for the big iPhone too, if you want that. But I know you don't need it right now. You don't like that big iPhone. And you do this. You close it up like that, and then you can put it to your eyes like this. Now you can play your games this way. Now, it has a strap. It has a thing. So if you're wearing a baseball cap.
Let me see.
All right, hold on. So like, let me start it for you, all right? Play. There you go. So now, obviously you would make it, we wouldn't be in a time commitment here. You can put it together, do whatever you want. But you can put it on your hat there, on the bill of your hat. You can have, there's straps here too that I didn't put on in enough time, but you can put it on. You wear it like this, you do this thing, have it on your head. Look at that.
This is interesting.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
I won't lie to you, View XL, it sounds like a dumb idea when you just hear it. And then today when I was assembling, I was like, this doesn't look cool. But then like right now, watching the Once Upon a Tim video, like it is actually cool. It is actually like totally blowing up what you're looking at. If you watch a lot of stuff on your phone, it would make sense to watch stuff on this. And like, I mean, of course, like in the privacy of your own home. I don't suggest the video.
You be on the subway.
The image that comes in the little thing is a guy out in a park with a hat on and headphones on, watching like this, and I'm like, I don't know. That's how I'd use it. But overall, I think it's a cool idea. You can play if you have the controller attachment. You can play your games on it too. I actually am a fan. I don't know when I would use it. Maybe Christine's sleeping. I want to watch something quietly next to her.
Sounds quiet.
Well, again, there'd be headphones on it.
Why couldn't you just watch it on your phone?
Because then the light would be all over her. Think about this. There's actually something to this. The light would spill out on the phone and brighten up the room. But if in this thing, the light is going.
Your iPhone? What is
the light goes straight into my eyes. In a dark room, how bright is your iPhone?
My iPhone's not bright in a dark room.
You're crazy. Well, you must have your brightness turned down.
Yeah, it's way down.
Well, that's stupid.
No, it's not. It's good for your eyes.
No.
All right, so
your eyes are going to fall out.
That's what we're going to add, the View XL.
The View XL is the first part of the prize pack. We're looking towards the digital future. Thank you, View XL. Of course, you can find it online. It's VUE, right?
VUE XL.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you for that, View XL. That'll be one of yours soon. Greg?
Yeah.
Let's jump into the comments and talk to our people for a few minutes.
I like how J.R. Ream shows up and goes, did they talk about The Last Guardian yet? No, we were waiting until the end of the show to talk about the biggest PlayStation. Come on, kid! Get here on time or don't come at all.
So for us, we end every episode of Colin and Greg Live with a song. Nope, that's a different show, actually. We end it by talking to you guys out there. First, we talk to everyone in the comments, then we talk to our subscribers only, and then we get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I'll be back, though, of course, 12:30, Walking Dead Marathon. Lots of giveaways for that.
Big Richie 7 says, when are you guys going to unbox that 20th anniversary PS4? I guess when we have a minute.
Yeah, whenever we have some fucking time to do it. Like, getting this Walking Dead stream in has been a giant pain in the ass, let alone doing that. We have to unbox the Retron 5 as well, though, too, so we can actually use that in Let's Play. So maybe when we do that, we'll have time motivated, but today's a holiday. Tim and Nick aren't even here. They're going to come by later, sit down with me, do the stream. Let's see if this pizza got picked up.
Bug the Bass or Bass says, Colin, do you still not eat chocolate? No, I don't like chocolate. Very specifically, I'll only eat certain type. I like the EL fudge cookies with the little stripes on them.
Sure.
I'll eat those.
Okay. This is why it's a big deal. It was one of our Patreon milestones, like this Walking Dead stream, that you will now do a Oreo oration, where you're gonna have to eat an Oreo cookie, and you don't like Oreo cookies, and review them and do all these different things.
No, yeah, that'll be fun. No. JTrain97 says, Colin, who do you got tonight, Rangers or Islanders? You know the answer to that question.
How are the Islanders doing? They're still
in first place.
Steamrolling along? All right, good. That's what I do.
The Rangers still have not beaten the Islanders at all this year.
It makes you happy.
Maybe we'll give them a shot. Not only have the Islanders beaten the Rangers every game, they fucking destroyed them every game.
Yeah.
So it's got to change some way. The Rangers are not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. We'll see what happens. Meebin says, do you guys know... God damn it. Do you guys know any journalist people in the esports realm? I don't think I do. I mean, we used to work with Leah Jackson, who works at Riot now, but I don't really know anyone. Esports is not my thing. I don't really understand it. You know, like, so I don't want to be like disingenuous and pretend like, you know, I'm into it. I'm just not into it. You can only be into so many things. When you're into video games, you're not into every video game. You know, like I'm just not that broad of a person. I think I'm I think I'm a Renaissance man in some ways, but not in this respect. Not in this respect. Is this... Greg, can you put... Is it in slow mode? It must be.
I would imagine somebody put it in slow mode,
yeah. Esco Nuff says, how soon do you think we get the Uncharted trilogy? On PS4,
Yeah, no, I know what he means. You imagine what? That's an E3 announcement?
I think
so. To tide you over till then, though. Here's
so.
This, and then it comes out end of the summer, right? Leads into the November launch of Uncharted 4, which I don't believe in.
Coast 0694 says, the Islanders are in 3rd in the East and 6th in the league. Colin, check your privilege. They are 1st in the Metropolitan Division, and that's all I really care about. Let's see. The dog is happy. That dog is happy, says Falco's 01.
Porty's always happy.
I don't know if he even has the brain capacity enough to be happy, but he exists and he's here. Let's see. Now, Greg, we talked about this before. Lord Kronos brings up the suicide mission to Mars, but I want to kind of rework his question a little bit.
Okay.
Would you go on the suicide mission to Mars?
Under no circumstance.
Really?
Yeah. No, thank you.
If NASA said, Greg, we're going to send you to the moon, and there's a 90% chance you'll get back, would you do it?
Probably. That sounds good. Here's the thing: is like I thought about this in the shower today, as I often do with the Mars thing. And I know we've talked about this before, because you would go, right? Kind of in theory.
Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I mean that's such a huge. I really would want to see if they could really get you there now. Like, is this going to be like a big tin can? Or
the whole thing for me is the fact that you and I have this different side, I think, on what's going to happen. Because I remember last time we talked about this on one of the shows, you were saying like you'd make history, you'd be remembered forever, da da da. I don't think anybody's going to remember these people who go to Mars. They will remember Mars 1 and this crazy fucking thing to get you to Mars and do all these different things. But I don't think like you have this legacy. And then even getting there, it's not like you're going to get there and there's going to be a section of the space station that has exposed floor where you get to feel the Mars dirt and see a Mars rock, or you know what I mean? Everything you do is going to be like in suits walking around out there and being in little pods and looking through these glass this big, a little portal. No thanks. If I got to go out there and roll, I don't agree with
one of your assessments. What was the program that brought man to the moon?
Apollo.
But it was the Apollo.
Yeah,
and who was the first person to step on the moon?
Neil Armstrong. But again, like that's not what this is going to be. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be like that. I guess that's a good point. If you can be the first motherfucker out Mars 1 to get out there and put your foot on Mars,
fight with each other to get out.
Exactly. You know, yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing of how they decide that. Sure, but I think then I just don't think it's. I don't think it's gonna. They're gonna be forgotten a lot of times. They're gonna get up there. It's gonna be a big deal, and this is if everything goes right. They're gonna get up there. It's gonna be awesome. No aliens, and then 3 months later, no one is gonna talk about them until something horrible happens, and then I think it becomes more of who is everybody on the Challenger. You know what I mean? Who is everybody on the Columbia?
I just remember the teacher.
Everybody does. That's the thing, is everybody remembers that one person.
What was her name? I lived in New Hampshire, and there was the big astronomy center was named after her. McCullough, I think, something like that.
Christy
right?
McCullough.
Christy McCullough.
Yeah. And that's the thing of just like, I think once you're up there and it's just over, it's over. Like Neil Armstrong got to come back, and he got to go on TV, and he got to have parades, and he got to be part of our national memory. When you're up there, I think you're kind of forgotten. Mars 1 is up there. Everyone's gonna remember Mars 1's up there. But maybe if the reality show's a huge hit though.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of things to consider. I respect the pioneering aspect of it though, because I really do believe with NASA's funding being cut so significantly and stuff like that, the best way for us to now explore space is through private companies.
Sure, I agree with that.
And I think that's just going to be the way it is. The Infinius says, I'd like to point out that New Horizons launched, which is the Pluto probe, launched the same year as Shadow of the Colossus, proving that it takes less time to get to Mars than to Pluto.
Real quick, Colin.
Yes.
Something to call out that we can announce finally, and it's live. You can buy tickets for it. We're going to SGC, the Screw Attack Gaming Convention. Tickets are on sale right now. They've gone live. Thought I would tell you. We'll be doing panels there. We'll be hanging out with people. We'll be doing all sorts of stuff. So if you want to, go ahead and click on the link I just dropped in chat or just search SGC, and we'll see you in Texas this summer, which is exciting.
Simpatico115 says nobody went to the moon. One of these people.
Oh, here we go. The crosshairs behind his shoulder. Clearly, it didn't happen.
My favorite thing are the moon conspiracy theories. Not because
was Armstrong who punched somebody in the face, or was it Buzz Aldrin?
Buzz Aldrin. Not only because like the moon conspiracy theories are so dumb. They're so catastrophically stupid. You know, because it's like all of the scientific questions have been answered, but even if you ignore that, you're suggesting a conspiracy involving thousands of people, and no one said anything. What are you, nuts? Even Deep Throat came out and was like, I'm Deep Throat, and then he died.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the great kept secrets of all time. Give me a break. We went to the moon. Plus, all you need to do is just have a really strong telescope and look at the moon, and you can see the evidence that we were there.
The footprints.
God, that shit's, I love the moon conspiracy theory. Is my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I love a good conspiracy theory, but the moon conspiracy theories are not even good. And that's the huge problem with the moon conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Much more compelled by like the 9/11 conspiracy theories, the JFK conspiracy theories, etc. So
but the
Pearl Harbor conspiracy theories, but not.
You don't think they filmed it on a soundstage, kept everybody quiet, did all these?
Oh yeah, things? they had thousands of people involved, and they all signed NDAs. They haven't said anything. No, that wouldn't be one of the biggest stories of all time. Here's the big thing. We've talked about this before. How we know we went to the moon, and this is the big thing. The Soviets never said that we didn't go to the moon because they were tracking it and they know we went. Yeah. They would have blown that the fuck up. Remember that this is the same Soviet Union that infiltrated the nuclear bomb project. I'm pretty sure they might have had aspire to it, with the Apollo mission. They knew it was real, and that's how you know.
Soviets is always keeping us honest.
Greg, let's switch over now to sub-only chat because I want to wrap things up somewhat succinctly so that you can have time to pee.
Yep.
And collect your thoughts.
Right, that's what I got to do.
And do all these kinds of things, and then we will begin.
It's been switched over. It'll take 1 second for it to copy. There you
go. Isaac000 said the Russians would have said something. Absolutely. They absolutely would have. You know that they would have. Because it reminds me of in 1960 when the U-2 fell. Yeah. This is another great example of why we would have known. When Gary Powers was in the U-2 plane and he crashed in Russia and they captured him.
Yeah.
The Russians played total games with us because they were like, NASA and the government lied about it and said it was a weather plane and all these kinds of things. And they were like, and then a few days later, Russia was like, oh, we have the plane. And they're like, all right, we were spying and we had some apparatus taking pictures, no big deal. And it is what it is. And the pilot's fine. They're like, oh, we have the pilot too, by the way. It totally embarrassed totally embarrassed them. And then they did a prisoner swap.
We've clicked over to sub-only chat. Remember, if you're not a sub, no big deal. Hang out, keep watching the show. Come back in, 26 minutes when I'll start my Walking Dead marathon. Play every episode. I'll be here all day for you. It's just that subs get this private time to chat with us, as well as being entered to win, as well as getting cool emoticons.
Jericho says, Colin, I just listened to the Stoned Immaculate again. What's your favorite track on the album? Stoned Immaculate, of course, Currency's seminal record.
I don't know.
No Squares is my favorite.
Today you're listening to Eminem.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those tracks in
I
a
haven't
long time.
I haven't either. Let's see.
Why's your face red, man?
I'm curious about your opinion on this, Greg, because you were talking about the moon. Copad7 says, would going to the moon again be pointless?
I don't think it's pointless. I'm sure there's scientific reasons. I think you'd have a hard time explaining to the public, the American. I mean, I'm assuming he's talking about NASA and funding and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, why, to 90% of the public, why it's a big deal to go. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I understand experiments in science. On top of my business degree, I have a scientific degree as well. And I know that with the scientific degree, you need to go to space sometimes to see what the ants do, how do they react.
Right.
You take a thing of sugar, you take a thing of flour, which comes down faster, which flies away faster.
It's very, very important experiments that you're working on the moon.
That's what I do in space, man.
NASA's just like in control.
How do you get flour and sugar up there?
But the sugar and flour cost $3 million just to get into space because they're a pound each.
What about you?
No, I don't think it's pointless at all. In fact, I think, and I've said this before, in terms of the American and Western outlook, the European Space Agency and NASA's outlook on the moon exploration, because Bush, to his credit, wanted to send us back to the moon, and we would have been there by now if the experiment.
Which Bush? W?
Bush, yeah, George W. Bush.
Okay.
And to me, it's relevant in the sense it's relevant for practical reasons because a lot of the fuel expended on these voyages is to just get off of Earth. So if you can have like some sort of base there where you can just set shit up, and people can like dock somewhere and then get down, or like get some sort of like staging area to then start exploring, then it would be cheaper and easier for us to get to places like Mars.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense.
That's a good point.
But I also think that the Chinese have a moon program and they're going to send astronauts there. And when NASA and ESA see that, they're going to flip the fuck out, because they're going to be like, we could have continued to do this. Remember that the late Apollo missions were canceled because people stopped caring.
Yeah.
We went to the moon with the processing power of a fucking calculator. Can you imagine like what we can do now if we just put our minds to it? That's one of the things is I think when we see Chinese astronauts on the moon, they're going to do great science, very important, that kind of stuff for all of humanity, just like we did. But I think it's going to bite us in the ass and be like, we have to go back.
Pride.
We have to kickstart. Like we just totally let it go. Like if we kept the same momentum, like I've said in a lot of the books I've read about space travel, about the Mercury program and the Apollo program and Skylab and all these kinds of things, is that the pioneers of NASA thought that we would certainly be permanently on Mars by now. Yeah. Nonetheless, like we haven't even gone there yet. You know, and it's like I think they'd be so disappointed in us.
Sure.
So I think that we have to, for all the money the government wastes, take half of the fucking Defense Department budget, cut it in half again, give half back to the taxpayer, and give half of that to NASA, and see what they can do.
Yeah.
Because they can do extraordinary things. They just need money.
I agree.
I know people that work at NASA, very passionate people.
You know the Mohawk guy?
Yeah, I do. I know. One of my friends, Lisa, works there.
Is she the Mohawk guy?
No, she's an incredibly intelligent engineer, though.
Oh, really? Wouldn't have suspected it working at NASA.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. When I first met her, she's a really nice girl. I met her through my friend Kevin, and she's like, "Yeah, I work at NASA," and I'm like, "That's fucking insane."
No, you don't. You're like, no, you don't.
She works at the one in the Valley in Ames Research, or whatever, and it's like, that's fucking insane. I remember being like, she's like, "Oh, you like space, or whatever?" I'm like, "Yes," and that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
She's like, she works on a team that like does like satellites and shit like that. I'm like, that's so cool, man.
NASA needs a Kickstarter/Patreon, says Crazed Zealot.
Monk of Crunk says, how's Jared and family? He's referring to our good friend Jared Petty and his wife, who was in a catastrophic, especially for his wife, accident some months ago. We raised a bunch of money for him. Everyone kind of came together. She's doing better. Mm-hmm. She's recovering. She's going to be fine. She's going to have some permanent problems, but no brain injuries.
She's alive.
All that matters. She's going to be able to walk, all these kinds of things. So she's doing great. But you can reach out to him. Perry, is it Jared, Perry?
No,
Petty?
no, it's Petty, Jared.
Petty,
He gives updates all the time on Twitter, so go to Petty, Jared.
Pettycomma.
I'll put it in the chat.
Jared. Let's do 3 more questions.
Okay.
The Lambread says, can you ever answer a question without going on a long fucking tangent? I have a story about that question. There came a time, Greg, when someone asked me a question about space, and I suddenly went off on these tangents about Pluto and the binary system of Charon and Pluto, and then
you had a really interesting. It was really interesting, and a lot of people enjoyed it. Yeah, I remember it.
And then we talked about The Last Guardian, and isn't it so funny that Shadow of the Colossus launched at the same time that its probe went to fucking Pluto, and it's going to get there before The Last Guardian comes. Isn't that funny? Then we were talking about the moon and Buzz Aldrin, how he punched that guy in the face.
Yep.
Then we were talking about Neil Armstrong. Then you talked about Mars 1. Would anyone remember the people on Mars 1? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I think they'll remember, you said they think they'll remember Mars 1 more. So in short, to answer his question, no. 2 more questions, Greg.
Plenty other Twitch streams for you to watch. Thanks for being a sub.
Oh, God. People are saying they appreciated that answer.
Oh, he did too. I mean, he's a sub. He gets it.
No, I don't. Yamigara, it's not a question, but a comment. I'll kickstart NASA. That would be interesting.
Yamigara is trying to start some shit again.
But space travel is so expensive. Let's see. Brettless asks, any of the Kind of Funny Games team have programming experience? I took a couple classes in high school, but I would not consider that experience, because this is the way that class went.
Yeah.
Me and my friends would collaborate together and work together, and then I would just play old games on the computer.
Nice. Some Oregon Trail?
Yeah, Oregon Trail, a lot of adventure games like the Sierra games.
Sure.
Final question. This one goes for you, Greg. This is more of a technical question. Local Lizard Man says, what capture device do you use for console games? Because I don't really know.
We use the AverMedia card we got. If you go and watch our unboxing, and this is a plug, but not really, sorry, on youtube.com/kindoffunny, you find our unboxing playlist. You can go and click on the giant Millennium Tower, because that's what we use to stream on, Origin Millennium Tower, of course. And in there, I pull it out. It's an AverMedia card. Super simple, super easy. I think it's like $150, $175.
And it works pretty well, right?
The one thing we do for consoles, it works amazingly. No, it's a great thing. The one thing to get around the whole HDCP crap and like the protections, you got to go into an HDMI splitter and then split it off that way, and that's how we get to see what we're doing in real time, stream without an issue, all these other different issues. Things.
I'm ready to go, but Mike Noss does ask a salient question right now, which is how mentally ready is Greg for the Walking Dead marathon?
I don't think I am enough. I'm going to turn off this fucking light because I'm not going to sit under the sun for 20 hours, and I'll readjust the camera. I've made some new graphics for the show to make it a little more dreary and stuff. But I'm excited. I love The Walking Dead Season 1 and 2. I'm excited to have my PlayStation 4 save. I'm excited for a bevy of trophies again. I'm excited for this fucking pizza I ordered that you'll get to watch me eat on the stream live. But it's going to be fun. We're going to hang out. We have so much stuff to give away. I'll be giving away prize packs after every episode I finish. This is one of the things. It's Clementine's backpack from Season 2. Telltale sent it over. It's got all sorts of Easter eggs from Season 2, if you didn't know. It's stuff that would make sense.
The water bottle?
It makes sense when you play Season 2.
And I was like, did they just accidentally leave that in there?
No. And then I got a whole bunch of games to give away. I got copies of the games. I got signed comic books from Robert Kirkman. There's a bunch of great stuff.
And we're going to give, at the end of 400 days, we're giving away Portillo, which is an incredible value. No, we're not giving away Portillo.
Yeah, he's not cost efficient.
He's not efficient in any sense of the word. Greg?
Yeah.
That's it for Colin and Greg Live.
Right.
It is President's Day. A lot of you guys were off out there. We had almost 8,000 concurrents one time, so we do appreciate that. Thank you for joining us so much. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We hope you had a great weekend and are ready for the week ahead.
Yep.
Don't even go anywhere. You don't have to go anywhere. Greg's going to start his stream in 18 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop this stream. It'll look like nothing's happening. I expect the chat and Devin and everybody else to explain to everybody what's happening, that we'll be back soon.
And then we'll be back. Well, you'll be back.
I'll be on for like 20 hours.
And then I don't think it's going to take you that long. And then I'm looking forward to the Mega Man one because I know it'll probably just be like, 10 to 12 hours or something like that. Maybe not even.
Chump change.
But anyway, thank you for joining us. We hope you had fun. Colin and Greg Live will return tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time right here at twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. You can follow us at kindafunnyvids on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have a NeoGaf thread now, an official thread at NeoGaf.
There's a Reddit.
We have Reddit. We have a fan group on Facebook. All sorts of places for you guys to interact with each other. A lot of positivity out there, which we really very much appreciate. So come back for Greg in 17, 16 minutes. You don't have to go anywhere. We're going to shut down. He'll be back. I won't.
Although I'll peek back in. I'm going to have your mic ready to go at any time.
Okay.
Nick and Tim are going to do the same thing.
And once Season 2 starts, I will not be in here at all.
Sure. Yeah.
But Greg?
Yeah.
Godspeed to you. You're going to need it. And we'll see you guys tomorrow and maybe even later today. Till next time. Au revoir.
You have to understand that I'm Geraldo. I'm not anyone to trifle with.